Coffee to me would be an experience. The experience of tasting different things in coffee constantly. So different varieties, different origins, things like that.
It is our craft and it's our passion also. I think it's two words.
For me, coffee is passion and as well something to bond over. Some connection I can have with another people. I can share the experience through the coffee and then create a friendship or something like that.
It's a passion. It's a passion, and it's a bit of a job now. It used to be more on the passion side, and now it's more of the job side. But I like that I can sort of more influence other people in the chain by what I do.
Making a better world for everyone involved, I guess. A cooperation and relationships we can actually build and improve.
I know that with coffee, you can travel all over the world. You can feel, you can taste.
It's a universal language because
Yes.
a lot of people consume coffee and a lot of people love coffee. So anywhere you go, you can find a good place to drink coffee and to share.
For me, it's geographical. That sounds strange, but I just love being able to kind of taste harvest and taste how things are changing from different parts of the world. So it's really like a wonderful journey every day, / like 4 or 5 times a day. So yeah, I think that's how I describe it.
Like if I would have to put like one word, I would say like freedom. Like I'm a roaster but as well as business owner. So for me it's a freedom that I can, like take the brand where I want, like I can use my creative skills, like in building the brand, but I also do have that, like kind of like hands-on experience.
Coffee is about giving. It gives me a lot, but I can give a lot as well to customers or
A little bit of love also for customers and for us.
Yeah, it's comforting. It gives you a lot. It gives you the taste. It gives you the experience. It gives you the warmth and
Just
rest.
yeah.
What coffee means to me? Lifestyle. Lifestyle, yes, definitely.
It's the fuel. It fuels the world. It's the second most traded commodity after oil. So it's fuel after fuel.
Well, I can say what coffee should be, like a cup of luxury in every day.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and like I think, there's always like stuff you can improve and things you can try, and like you can experiment, all day, every day if you wanted. That, for me, I think keeps me in it and keeps me kind of interested. Yeah, I just want to get better, and like I just don't feel with coffee that I'm ever going to feel we've achieved that. So I think I'll be in it for a very long time.
Yeah, the coffee means the relationships and the meeting people, sharing experience with another roasters, baristas, and meet each other on the festivals or cuppings and share their experiences and their knowledge. Like sharing everything you know about coffee with each other.
For me, coffee is something that brings us all together and lets us have that small moments in our life that's just simple pleasures in our usually busy and hectic days.
I think coffee means to me life, because it's the life of people that are making it and the life of the people that are enjoying it, and we are in between, so coffee is life.
Relative to specialty coffee is that it really always reminds me about striving for balance. I think I apply this concept to every facet of my life, and I think when I always think about striving for balance, the outcome is always really good, and I think that's something that I'm always reminded every day.
Passion, an international language, An experience. Yeah, coffee is an experience for us.
My experience here in the spring cupping, I've learned so much. Certainly more so on the farmer end of things. I've learned a lot more about how the different cultures that we all sell into, different like countries that we sell into, and how what's popular in one country is not always popular in another country. Roasting approaches from one roaster, and we had very similar coffees on the table, and I got to see the way that we did it, the way they did it, and we spoke about why they approached something in a certain way. We discussed the profiles, the way we approach those coffees, and so yeah, I think I might take a little bit of what they told me today, and hopefully maybe they'll take a bit of what I told them. But fundamentally, I think it was a great learning experience, not just to come and taste coffees, which is why I came here. I wanted to see what was going to be good for us to buy. Now I got this additional stuff that I'm going to take with me, hopefully, and learn.
Great to be back after 2 years of no spring cupping or autumn cupping. It's a nice way to get an overview of what's going on in the incoming coffees.
Yeah, it's been fantastic table showing the potential in the different countries. Lots of good coffees and lots of nice people.
It's a must. You have to go because it's amazing. You can get together, you can chat. For me, it's not that much about the coffee, but I just want to meet with everybody in Nordic and have a chat and have a great time, share some experience, share some stories.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I met wonderful people. I got a lot of coffee, so far it's awesome. I mainly went here to make buying decisions, but I think all of it is important.
It was tough, many cuppings, to be honest. It was my first experience. I was looking forward to it for the last 7 years probably, so I finally ended up in here, and it's a great event. Many great lectures, many great coffees. I think it was very insightful. It was great to meet some new roasters, some roasters I've never heard of, which is always great, and to actually to see a competition.
It was really good, really, really good. In 2 days, we see a lot of coffee and cup it and share with people. And,
in 2 days we made a coffee tour, a world coffee tour, and it was very interesting.
For me, it's great to taste all the coffees, but for me the real highlight is actually just meeting up with all of your friends and colleagues, and to be able to speak to everyone about coffee and actually just share ideas. I think that's the real unique thing about being able to come here. That, and there's always some good hospitality and parties. So yeah.
For us, it's really important to have also personal relationship with the importers. So I think it's important to always nurture the relationship. It's also nice to meet other people, learn about other coffee scenes, how it's moving there, how it's growing, because specialty is growing, and we have bigger chunk of the market now, and hopefully it's going to be even bigger.
For me, I think it's for us as well, that it's something completely different than that we're used to do. We're very connected, or we are connected to our roastery, but still this is tasting and getting to know the different kind of origins much better. Because you have all the Honduras, all the El Salvador, all the Kenyans. It's oh yeah, we know what to expect from origin now. We talked with people who are in the same industry, and we get to know that everybody has the same stuff they worry about, or frustrations they have, and
it's all the same.
It's all the same in every country, so it takes away frustrations, or you can understand it better. So it's really nice to hear it from different people.
It was a nice experience to meet all the other people from the community. It got me a lot of knowledge from the presentations, how the sourcing and these things works. So it was very helpful and useful, and it's been nice.
Super happy.
definitely coming back.
Especially after the COVID, to finally go travel and meet other people in the industry. It's just like, like the good old days are back, basically.
And the talks and country updates that the guys done have been really educational and super useful. Helps us to sell the coffee as well, to add a story behind each bean that we buy.
It's really good, especially when you're like a small roaster, because it's really hard to get samples sometimes, and sometimes you're waiting for samples, and then by the time you get them, stuff's sold out and things like that. So it's just really productive, I think. You know, you can come here, you can cup everything that there is to offer, and you know, get it all done in one day, and you're not distracted by other things that are going on in your own roastery and things like that. So, and aside from that, it's just, you know, it's good to mix with other roasters and, you know, meet the sourcing team and, you know, everyone who works here.
I really like to see and meet the people behind the Nordic Approach who I'm sharing the mails and this, because the third, or especially coffee, is about experiences with other people, the friendships, relationships. So it's really good to see each other personally, not only by the emails. Yeah, taste the new crops, new experimental fermentations or stuff like that, like the things I never tasted before.
Cupping almost, or maybe over 100 coffees these 3 days have been really fun and amazing. So we had some really delicious coffees, really got to talk to people within the industry, and that's something I rarely get to do, just talk outside of the people I work with. And hang out and have some beers and just chill. It's been one of the best experiences in this year so far.
Cuppings bring us together, and it's nice to share information about coffees and experience. Oslo, it's a great city, so why not to be here? And also, for sure, there was amazing coffee lots and amazing processes that I could taste, and I could understand what's happening in the coffee field. The most important thing about cupping is sharing your ideas about coffee with the others and tasting the same coffees, but also it's something about community and people that are passionate about coffee.
I think the most important thing about the cupping here, right in Norway, is that I could really find out for myself once and for all that how the coffee tasted on the tables in Nordic Approach. Because when we cupped the samples back home, we were never really sure if it tasted the same. And cupping alongside with everyone at a cupping table, we could also see how people responded to the coffees, and we could also sort of have a larger choice of coffees to select from, and that's definitely a much better experience comparing to cupping the samples back home.
These 3 days were very interesting. We taste all these different coffees from El Salvador, Ethiopia, Kenya, and we are very glad to be here.
We got to meet Jamie in 2016, I think, and yeah, it was just at a cupping event in Dublin, and I think from there it just, you know, we learned a bit more about what they were doing, and it has always been the case that if you get samples in from any green supplier, you can nearly always taste the ones that are from Nordic Approach. They're always generally the better cup on the table. It's actually quite obvious sometimes. And you'd be like, flip it over, you're like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Nordic Approach, of course it is. You speak to any roaster, certainly in Ireland, and they'll know that Nordic Approach in terms of quality just is excellent. Yeah.
I've been traveling with Morten since before he started Nordic Approach, when he was the head buyer for Solberg and Hansen. And I also know Andreas since then. Those two have been teaching me about coffee in a long time before they also started importing for themselves. So.
It's a long time ago, I don't know, actually I don't know. I guess on some cupping event, maybe somewhere. And basically I love the coffee I tasted back then we got in touch with Jamie and fall in love with him as well. So, and that's where our journey together started, and then it's continuing, and it's amazing.
Well, I started with you guys. I think I just Googled you and got into a conversation with Jamie, which just started in the company, and we really hit it off. I like the philosophy that you're not just, it's not just about business, but that you want to do something with the whole chain that is completely broken, in my opinion, from what I saw. And yeah, I've been mostly faithful to you guys.
Well, I met Nordic Approach about, if I'm not mistaken, about 8 years ago, when they were just at the beginning. I used to work for Double B Roasters back then, and we sourced basically all of our coffee was sourced by Nordic Approach. I love what they are doing, the projects, all the cooperation with the farmers, the options they are actually offering to actually, if you are a bigger roaster, you can source with them, you can actually get your own coffee, you can get to know the farmers. I've actually attended the Origin trip as well, so there are so many options they are actually available to do for the roasters.
And I remember when Nordic Approach first came to do a cupping in the UK, and it was with Morten and Alec. I ended up buying far too much Brazilian coffee at the time, and I couldn't afford it, and I couldn't even fit it in my roastery. And we've been working ever since, really, to have a great relationship. I found the kind of transparent and easygoing approach to business has always kind of suited how I want to operate. We've kind of been working on and off for a long time, but over the past 5 years, pretty much solely, really, just keeping things easy. It's very easy to buy nice coffee when it's so good, so.
I got to know him through, actually, through the transparency reports. I got to know that we buy a lot of coffee from them. And I know that they have, the transparency is very important for them, the FOB price thing, the farmer is also very important. I get a real good feel about Nordic Approach. We have other importers that we know about, and it's a different kind of feel.
Yes.
It's a good feel. I get from it. Yeah.
When we decided to open a roastery back home, we choose Nordic because we really like the transparency, but just the quality of the coffees have been above any other supplier we really tried. So yeah.
The work they do is great, and the coffee's always super high quality. We get most of our African coffee through Nordic, so Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda. Gitesi actually is probably one of my favorite coffees of all time. So
it was because of our head roaster 2 years ago. So now I'm only roaster, but he was teaching me a lot, and he wanted to have coffees from the Nordic Approach because he worked with Nordic with Rastingen's roastery, which he worked before. So he told Nordic have a really amazing coffee. We need to have them on our offer. So that's the way.
I think Nordic Approach does a really good job. They systematically go into places where they are needed. Infrastructures, they help build infrastructures. They source coffee where we can proudly say that we don't take advantage of these farmers. We actually help them. Does that little something in our life to really help them, and that wouldn't be possible without Nordic Approach and our resources like them, because we don't have the capacity to go to Ethiopia and Colombia and all these places to source directly. So that somebody are able to help us also make a difference is really important.
My chance to come across Nordic Approach was started with Tin Vendible. This was 9 years ago when I started my specialty coffee journey. I have followed Tim closely to understand more about specialty coffee because 9 years ago he was, pretty much the barista to follow, and I learned about all the things about Nordic Roast and Nordic Approach, how they source their beans, and throughout all the years where I cupped the beans that Nordic Approach sourced, they were always really good, and I always felt wanted to support what it stood for.
It was very easy for us to choose you, and it's very important how the people behind Nordic are with us. I mean, the kindness, their support. We've done already 2 trips in Kenya and in Colombia with Nordic. So they didn't have to convince us to have to work with Nordic.